Thank you so much, Minister, for speaking to CNN News 18. Minister, Prime Minister's idea of G20 is Jan Bhagidari. Since India is hosting such a grand multilateral event, Prime Minister wants people of this country to know how they are going to be benefited. What are they going to achieve? The common man of India is going to achieve as India is hosting this event. First of all, I want to know your perspective on this G20 multilateral event, leaders meet going to take place in New Delhi. And the second, how as a minister, as a close confidant of Narendra Modi, you are going to take this entire G20 idea to each and every household in India. What is the plan for that?
See, this G20 presidency of India, we are doing it, if I compare it with other G20 summits and the presidencies that has happened, we are having the widest participation. I can say taking the whole country in that process of hosting the G20. That's why G20 is not limited to some activities which are diplomatic nature or which are ministerial nature happening in the capital city. Instead of that, we are having around 200 engagements, 200 events happening in almost 57 cities of the country, practically covering every state. And that gives an opportunity for not only the visiting delegates to know the diversity of India, the specialities of India, but it also gives an opportunity for the people to participate in that. The Civil 20 of the G20, it alone has seen a participation of around 45 lakh people. So that's a very huge number, hitherto unheard of. No country in the world in their G20 presidencies have involved the people in such large number. So any activity that takes place and the G20's discussions, that is basically covering the economic aspects, technology, various other issues related to India's inclusive growth. So these things ultimately is going to benefit the people of this country also, because India is part of the whole world.
Yes.
And the world benefits, and anything that India suggests is on the basis of India's experience. The digital public infrastructure that we have created now, that is there a unique thing that the whole world is now looking at awe with that. So naturally this will give an opportunity for us also to progress, and every Indian will become part of that growth story of India.
Sir, I would also like to share my experience, since I have been doing a lot of ground reports these days, and wherever I go, maybe I am going to Chandni Chowk or Palika Bazaar, so a small chai wala or a small vendor, kirana store is also collaborating with G20 logos and promotion. So I think that's working on ground. So my second question to you is, since it's an opportunity for me to ask you, so what's happening within the ministry? How excited you people are? What is the plan? How the work is going to be divided amongst the ministers? Is there any, roadmap for the final event? Because give me some scoop as a journalist. What's happening within the ministry?
See,
and
MEA functions, MEA's function, MEA's activity is a specialized activity. And MEA has a well laid down principles. And MEA has a working style. So naturally, we are guided by the Prime Minister. Then we have our team leader in the Honorable Sri Dr. Jaishankar, and we three ministers are there who are the ministers of state. But other than that, there is a whole lot of officers who have spent their whole life in diplomatic activities. So for us, they have all seen it while it was being held outside. So now they get an opportunity to take the best of everything and host it in our country. And Prime Minister has been taking the lead, giving the lead from the front. I can tell you that almost 3 years ago, when we had the first online meeting held, Prime Minister gave the idea of hosting this event not only in Delhi but in different parts of the country. So, getting the others who visit India to have a flavor of India, because be it in Kerala or in Maharashtra or in Northeast or in Jammu Kashmir, each one gets a different flavor of India. So, these things the lead has been taken by the Prime Minister. It is being implemented under the leadership of Dr. Jaishankar, and Dr. Jaishankar knows the world like his like his palm. So, he has doesn't need any tutoring on any such things. So, I consider that we are all fortunate to be part of that team when India is hosting the G20. Of course, during the last 1 year, activities have really gone up. It is in a very brisk pace. The Secretariat is functioning from the Sushma Swaraj Bhavan. The entire interiors have been changed so that it can accommodate lot of people, including diplomats and other professionals who are working from there. So, we are all gearing up ourselves for the D-Day of the summit, which will happen on 9th and 10th.
Since you were talking about the flavor of India, so a lot of delegates are going to come, and perhaps to the best of my knowledge, information, that they will start arriving from 1st or 2nd of September. There's going to be advanced teams coming, a lot of things are going to happen. What locations do you want to recommend to those foreign delegates when they are in Delhi to go for shopping, or perhaps to have some good food, Indian cuisine, like some of your favorites if you'd like to share?
See, India is, I can tell you that those delegates who come to Delhi, they will get the flavor of Delhi. And Delhi has a multi-cuisine, multicultural thing, so they will get to experience that. But our focus has not been that Delhi is the entire India.
Yeah.
So, India is so diverse. So, what you get in Kashmir, you don't get it in Kerala. What you get in Northeast, you don't get it in Kutch. So, we have been providing all these flavors to the delegates who came, and to my understanding, other than the 29 countries which are participating, 20 participants and 9 guest countries, almost around 15 to 20 other countries also have participated in various events. More than 100 nationalities, delegates drawn from more than 100 nationalities, and altogether around 20,000 delegates who participated in the almost 187 meetings which have been events that has been held till now. All this have happened. So, I would say that I don't want to give them names and other things, because if I give some specific names, something might be left out. But there is a lot to see in Delhi, lot to experience in Delhi, lot to taste in Delhi.
Yes. Minister, something I want to ask you, how is your equation with your boss, Mr. Jaishankar? Like when you people sit together, or because post 2014, in general, the people in India have shown more interest in foreign policy. Now, even the news channels in India cover more foreign policy, and things have completely changed. They want to know what India is doing, where India is buying fuel, how is India's equation with Gulf. So, how is your boss and what is your equation with him? And
I can say that it is very friendly. We are a team.
Okay.
So, and he is the leader of our team, and there is no match for him regarding what happens in the world, the world of diplomacy. So, I have been a great fan of him, even when he was a foreign secretary.
Yes.
But after that, when I got the opportunity to work with him, I considered it as a great privilege. And we meet quite often, we discuss every aspect. He also shares whatever is happening with us. So, I can say that I cannot get a better boss.
Oh, he's a career diplomat and you're a politician.
Of course.
That's a good jugalbandi.
Yes. Yeah. And since I look after the parliament, So see, diplomacy is not, I don't think that diplomacy is something entirely different from what we do within our internal politics.
Yes.
So something is at the international level, the other thing is at the diplomatic, at the domestic level. So we share a lot of things, and Dr. Jaishankar is not a novice. I don't consider that he is a novice in internal politics also. India's domestic politics also, he has seen it, of course, from the sidelines.
Yeah.
But he has understood, he is an intelligent person, he has learned many things. So last 30-35 years of his diplomatic career, that has given him a perspective of how Indian politics functions. So he has grasped it very well, and some of the interviews that he had given to the media, I have seen the media persons, the interviewer themselves congratulating him that the way he has adapted
very
himself
articulate, very clear.
and adapted himself to politics.
Yes, very
Because
much.
he was in the initial days when he joined, he was considered to be a diplomat, he will be aloof
Yes,
from the
yeah.
domestic political things. But no,
No.
he has adapted himself, he has taken like fish to water.
He's playing a lot of cover drives on political pitch also these days. Sir, now, we are the 5th largest economy. We have achieved a lot in last 8-9 years. And perhaps, now the world looks out for India's opinion on some geopolitical development. Various nations want India to take a position on certain thing happening around. But sir, there is a constant attempt, there has been a constant attempt to undermine or malign the reputation of India deliberately by a dedicated ecosystem across the globe and within the country. Now, the recent example is of Chandrayaan-3, the space mission that India carried out. We all celebrated, but there were deliberate attempts made by many journalists across the world, especially the journalists in Britain, in Australia, those who made some unrequired commentary to undermine the space mission. In fact, they went on to question this entire idea of ISRO. So being a foreign minister, being an Indian, how would you like to react to this?
See, I don't give much importance to such comments, because there may be some individuals who are making such comments, but at the same time, my experience is the world rejoices at India's achievement, because India comes to the help of every other country when they are in need.
Yes.
See, I was in Kuwait yesterday and day for yesterday, and yesterday during the luncheon meeting hosted by the Kuwait Foreign Ministry, the Deputy Foreign Minister, when the lunch was almost concluded, he asked me, Mr. Minister, just turn your back. Then I turned my back and I could see a cake created by them.
Yes, yes.
Congratulating India. So that
They shared those photographs on social
Yes.
media also. Yes, yes.
No, that means it is not that every other countries are envious of India. They don't feel that India's achievement, they are a bit envious, they are in rivalry, nothing like that. I feel that at large, the whole world rejoices at India's achievement, because India's achievement is always for the good of the world, good of the humanity. So if India achieves something, it will not be limited to the benefit of only Indians. Of course, Indians will get the benefit, but it will not limit itself to that. It will go beyond that. So Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is not just a motto for us, it is not just a slogan for us, it is something that we have been practicing in everyday life, be it in India or outside the world. So I feel that the whole world is, of course, some might be not very happy with the developments, but overall I would say that India's achievement is being seen with appreciation.
Some even have problem with this motto of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, but that we'll discuss some other day. Sir, now you look after Gulf. I keep tracking your visits to Gulf as I cover foreign policy, so I keep tracking your engagements. I am connected to people in your office. Sir, how much important Gulf is for Indian foreign policy, and perhaps after Prime Minister Modi coming into picture, how much the perception has changed for India. Also, I would like to mention, especially in terms of outreach to these Muslim nations, because I would give a perspective before, because before Modi coming to power, even after that, there were a lot of criticism that the Gulf will not tolerate him, the Gulf will not have the same relations that Gulf used to have before. But what I could see now is completely different from the commentary which was made in 2013, 14, 15, because I could see a lot is being done. So I want your analysis, since you go quite often, perhaps I think every week you travel to one or the other Gulf country. What is the response?
See, first of all, the response is great, I can say, and they themselves have expressed. So if I quote from Dr. Jaishankar's one of the interviews, he has personally given an instance where he has mentioned that, of course, that interview or the incident of the foreign dignitary's comment might have happened some 2-3 years ago. So the 6 years of Narendra Modi or the 7 years of Narendra Modi has been much better for them than the past many years or many decades, because the lip service that was being paid in those days and the present actual work that is happening now. Say for example, our engagement, it has increased. Prime Minister visited, when he first visited Gulf in 2014 or 15 perhaps, that was after 40 years, Indian Prime Minister visiting the Middle East after 40 years, no, 26 years. So that was a very large gap. So after that, every country in Middle East has experienced the leadership capabilities of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He has visited almost every country. Some exceptions would be there due to various reasons, not any strategic reason, but practical, logistic and other reasons. But otherwise, he has visited every country. And he has hosted them here also. So our engagement has increased. Dr. Jaishankar has been traveling. I have personally visited Gulf. I can say that every country I have visited more than once. Then our trade. Our trade has increased in such a large extent. We have now the comprehensive economic partnership with UAE. With the discussions for that was concluded in just 88 days. So the trade has increased. Our diaspora, which is almost 8.5 million, which is one of the largest in the region, that diaspora is there. So all these things have contributed to improving the relation. I2U2 is there. No, earlier it was a buyer-seller relationship. Now it's not the buyer-seller relationship, it is partnership. So that partnership which is there, that they have also...
Previously India was the buyer and they were the sellers.
They were sellers.
Of fuel, crude.
Yes, fuel, crude. Now they take care of our energy security, we take care of their food security. And we are not limiting ourselves to that only. We are diversifying our economic engagements. There is investment happening in India. There is investment happening in Middle East countries. So every Middle East investment authorities, they are looking at India's growth. Even yesterday when we were discussing, I am sure that in the coming few months, the Kuwait Investment Authority is planning to come over to India. They are already have come, they are invested in steel and hospitality industry. Now they are looking for other arenas where they can invest. So they consider India as a friend, as a partner. So that India being considered as a friend and partner, that is the change that has happened from the earlier relationship of buyer-seller.
Absolutely. Since we're talking about Gulf, a lot of people from your own home state are a very active part of powerful Indian diaspora in Gulf. I would like you to share your personal experiences, like maybe when you are in Kerala or when you're going to Gulf, Like, how's the response when they see you coming from state of Kerala, handling such an important portfolio and dealing with the government there? What's the excitement? What's
See, the thing is, first of all, from the side of the leadership of the Gulf countries, many of them are aware of Kerala, because when I go to them, meet them, I tell that I am from Kerala. So immediately they recognize, because they have the experience of interacting with one or other Keralite in their life also. They say that we have all been brought up by people from Kerala, the ayas, nannies, yes, all such people, the teachers. So they had the experience of having a personal interaction from somebody from Kerala. So they have a friendly relation, one. Second thing, for the people of Kerala, they feel that because the largest diaspora from Kerala is in Middle East. So a Kerala man is there, authorized by Prime Minister Narendra Modi to take care of the interests of the diaspora, of the interests of the non-resident Indians. So that person is from Kerala. That gives them feel that there is an additional advantage, that we can approach the government through the minister for any difficulty that we face. So be it mortal remains, be it women in distress, be it people in jails, or be it people who have to get their grievances redressed. I get quite a lot of such issues. I have created a dedicated portal for, of course, it is not limited to Kerala, because since I deal with the overseas Indian affairs, any Indian, any person other than the ministry's portal, if he wants to bring it to my personal attention, I get it, and then I have a live communication with every mission across the world.
It's quite satisfactory. Yeah. Sir, my next question is something which you have never spoken about, the Sudan evacuation. So we were tracking it here in India, and perhaps I still remember I was speaking to a senior official in MEA, and I was told that it's one of the toughest evacuations India has ever carried out. And also remember the day when Prime Minister assigned you this task from a public rally, and next day you were in Saudi Arabia, and you made sure that you are going to stay in Saudi Arabia till the evacuation get over, every Indian gets evacuated. Share something about that experience, and how has these evacuations transformed in India's image globally?
See, it was in the public rally in Cochin. I was translating the speech of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, and then there he made the public announcement that Operation Kaveri is being initiated and I am being entrusted. That was on 25th of April.
Were you aware about it?
No, I was hinted.
You were hinted. Okay.
I was hinted that you may have to travel to take care of this. But I didn't expect that the Prime Minister will make a public announcement saying that I am being entrusted with that job. So then, of course, I took permission from him. I asked him. That's correct. So he was in Cochin, and he was to travel to Trivandrum next day for the inauguration of the Vande Bharat. So I took his advice. So then he gave me the option of either coming to Trivandrum or to go to Sudan. Yeah. But then I knew that he wanted me to go to Sudan. So then that night itself I left for Sudan. Next day morning I was in Jeddah. Around by noon I reached Jeddah. See, I can tell you that I have heard about various other operations. Operation Devi Shakti, when it happened from Afghanistan, I was minister here, so I knew what was happening. The Ukraine thing, I was personally involved here in the control room here. But the type of problems that our mission had to face in Khartoum, in Sudan, I don't think that any other mission, they would not have continued there. All other missions closed their shop and went. When the war was, or the conflict was on, and when we got the information that one of the Keralites who died, Albert Augustine, so I had personally spoken to the ambassador. Ambassador told me that minister, because I knew him personally also, he is from Nagarkoil. So he told me that, minister, you can see the sound of shelling. That is happening just outside the compound of the mission or the premises of the mission. You can see the smoke of the bomb explosions. So I knew that what type of situation he was working in. But in spite of that, the mission saw to it that every Indian who wanted to come back to India, they were transported, arranging 50 to 60 buses, getting fuel, managing fuel. It was a very difficult task, managing fuel. Not because fuel was not available in the open market at all.
Yes.
So, but in spite of that, the mission arranged that, and then from Port Sudan to Jeddah, they were transported by 17 ships and 17 aircraft flights and 4 or 5 ships. So the Navy was involved, the Air Force was involved. So these perhaps have not happened anywhere. One. Second thing, I would say that the Air Force took the most risky operations, and it has not happened in any other operations. I remember an operation that was undertaken, Wadi Saidna. That is an airstrip which is dysfunctional, no lights.
Yeah.
We also didn't know that they will be taking such an operation beforehand.
We made the landing.
Then they made the landing there, picked up the people, and when they came back to Jeddah, it was really a
That was a night operation, I remember.
It was a night, and it was not a daytime operation also. It was night operation, and I especially congratulated the pilot, the captain who undertook that operation. So our Air Force capability, that was known to the world, and my experience of Saudi Arabia's cooperation in this, that is another factor that I should say, because we were all there for 5 or 6 days. We were almost completely sort of set up our shop in the King Abdullah Air Base of the Royal Saudi Air Force. And the commander of that that air base, he is also Commander Abdullah. He was there day and night, available for us with refreshments, whatever is required. So Saudi Arabia made everything, facilitated everything, immigration. So they didn't ask any question. If you are Indian, okay, you come over, you change over to your flight to go back to various places in India. That is second. Third thing is the Indian mission. As I mentioned, the officers of Indian mission, day, night, they didn't care for. So we had a 24/7 working control room in Jeddah. We got people from nearby countries. We set up. It functioned for almost more than a week. So all these things makes it the most difficult one. At the same time, it showed the capability of India. Many countries were in a way relying upon India's capability to get their citizens evacuated from Sudan. So that again shows
The confidence
competence of India.
Sir, also when I was speaking to the people, those who have got evacuated, they were telling me that there was no problem that they faced while coming to Port Sudan, where people from the other countries were facing problems, because there were kind of a back channeling or a messaging which was done from the Indian side to the forces fighting there. So, I mean, yeah, obviously this is something which you will not mention, but yeah, I was told about it. Sir, my last question to you is that Biden wants Prime Minister Modi's autograph. Anthony Albanese calls him a rock star. James Marape touches his feet. How does this popularity, this acceptance worldwide makes your work easier as a policymaker?
See, of course, wherever I go visit, when of course in the pleasantries also we convey the greetings from the Prime Minister. So everyone considers the Prime Minister, sees the Prime Minister with awe. Means they want a leader, their concept of leader is Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So they want to be considered as a close friend of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It also shows the development and the growth the stature that India has achieved during the last 9 years. India's diversity, India's democracy, and within that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is able to lead India further ahead in its journey of progress. So, be it the vaccines or the digital public infrastructure or now the infrastructure development that is happening, all these are things that are considered as model for the other countries. I have heard when I went for the inaugural functions of the other presidents, I have heard them saying that India has achieved. India, a country of 1.4 billion people, if they can achieve this, why can't we attempt this in our country? So, they consider India to be a model which can be emulated. So, India is considered as a friend not only of the global south, other developed countries, Europeans, various other South Americans, the FIPIC countries, the Pacific Island countries or the small islands, everywhere the effort made by India, that is considered with respect and with a sort of adulation. So, naturally I get a benefit of that. So, if we have to, even for evacuations and other things, the thing that you mentioned, that Indians didn't find any problem. Yes. It's not only Sudan, in Ukraine also we had the same benefit. Yeah. It's because the leadership provided by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So, now Prime Minister Narendra Modi is not only a leader of India, his stature has become a leader of the global. He is a global leader. And if I remind you, if you look at the seniority level, a democratically elected leader, there is very few people, democratically elected leaders who has been at the helm of affairs, at the leadership of the country for 10 years. Yes. Maybe Macron is there almost, he's into his second term. But I don't think he has not completed his second term. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is now...
But his popularity has also taken a hit.
Yes, popularity. And the popularity at the global level is the highest for the Prime Minister.
Approval ratings.
So, I have seen foreigners coming, because I am in charge of Andhra Pradesh. Once Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he came for a public meeting. There were some people, foreigners, whites. I asked them, where have you come? No, we are from Germany, we are in this city, we came to know that your Prime Minister is coming.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement, indeed.
So, that it is not at the leadership level only of various other countries, it is there by the common man, common citizen of every other country. Because they feel that there is somebody to take care of us. Sri Lanka, when I went, the people there, the leadership there, they felt that if Prime Minister Narendra Modi had not been there, we don't know what trouble we would have been facing. So, this is there, and
Sri Lanka,
I have seen
Maldives, Bangladesh,
everywhere.
They're all great.
Bangladesh.
Yeah.
I have had the opportunity to be in the meetings which he had with his bilateral meetings with other leaders. So, the level of warmth that he has and those leaders have with him, that of course is something
the confidence
that
of
India
these,
has been.
yes, the confidence of these countries have gone up, and perhaps they have offer from the other country also, but they feel that there is a hidden motive. If they will invest, they will help us. Yeah. But India doesn't have a motive.
No. India is considered as a country which engages with them with sincerity for their well-being. Yeah. There is no hidden agenda.
Hidden agenda, that's right.
Many others have personally told me in informal talks that with India we have no suspicion. No suspicion at all. No doubts about your relationship with us. But many others, we are not like that.
Thank you so much, sir. All the very best for the G20 Leaders Summit. Thank you.
Thank you.